matter of minutes. So once you download, then it will be launched. It will be launched in your screen as like Power BI desktop. So we talked about like what is Power BI. Power BI is for developing. It's a development software. It's a developer software where you can build all your reports. Where we can build all our reports. So let's talk about the various features. Okay, I mean, see, there is nothing to learn kind of a language in Power BI, but we do have a language called DAX. DAX, data analytical expressions. We will come to that. No worries. So we'll come to that and we will talk about. But prior to that, since it's a tool, we need to understand, we need to learn like what are all the different options that we have with this tool. Okay. So we have seen like different pages. Okay. These are the different pages with this one, with this tool. And here if you see there are these three different components. If you have a prior experience with Excel, Excel, so if you have extensively worked with Excel, then you might see many common features, many common functionalities, many options which are familiar with you. The reason because what happened in 2016, when Microsoft has came up with Power BI as a separate component, Power BI desktop. Prior to that, these features were also available in Excel. Okay, Excel, we had a component called Power BI component. Okay, so you just need to install that add-on components, add-ons basically, the Excel 2016 version. So when you install that, what will happen? You can in the C, you can also enable the tabs as like see in the tabs, right? In the Excel, what you see, um, the developer tab, insert, these kind of tabs, right? Generally. So similarly, once you enable the Power BI one, you could also see the Power Query, Power View kind of things. Okay, you can see all these Power BI things. So, but the features what you are seeing here are not available. I mean, like only 10% of or hardly 5% of the features that you can see with the Excel component of Power BI. But when Microsoft has brought that decided that no, let's have a separate tool. Let's have a separate tool for this one. Then it is like then it is like vast. It is like vast. You can have all these features. What they did, they brought these three sections: model, data, and report. So when it is coming to the model, what is this section? So you remember, right? We talked about initial 3 or 4 sessions. We talked about extensively. We talked about the modeling part, the facts, dimensions, star schemas, hybrid schemas, slowly changing dimensions. Everything we talked about, right? We talked about the reason because that is needed for this modeling part of the Power BI. Okay. I encourage you all. Okay, remember this. When you wanted, to be good in Power BI, not only in Power BI, if you wanted to good in the modeling side of it, data modeling, that is very important. That is very, very important. Let's say take an example. This is your table, dimension table. Okay, this is your fact table, and this is another dimension table. Okay, so how the relationship is generally? Likewise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our dimension table. Okay, This is our fact table. This is our dimension table, another dimension table. So imagine, I'm not going to write down all the columns. Okay, imagine, let's say in one single visual, one single visual, okay, one of the report, visual in the sense one report, you need to display, you need to display. So let's say take an example, customer. This is a customer table. Imagine, okay, this is a customer table, and this is the product table, and this is having total sales. Okay, you need to display customer wise, product wise sales. How do you display? How do you display? You cannot display it. You will miss the, definitely you will miss the granularity of it. Granularity in the sense you cannot retrieve the data customer wise sales and the product wise sales. The reason, because you do not have a flow. You do not have a flow, and you do not have a relationship. You do not have a direct relationship between these two dimensions. You do not have a direct relationship between these two. So how do you do this? This is called circular relationship. Okay, this is called circular relationship. When you establish this one relationship, when you change this one, this will become a circular relationship. So how you achieve this? When you know, when you don't know the modeling part, so that is very important for you. These are the questions in the interviews they will ask you. These are the use cases they will ask you. So very, very important. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things. Okay. So, role playing dimension. What is the role playing dimension? Again, I wanted you all to explore on that. That I will make you a kind of a questions for you. Okay. So these are very important. You may think that, okay, this is just for learning purpose. Okay. This is just learning purpose. Now, how the interviewers are asking, they change the strategy. They change the strategy. They are not asking. Earlier, they used to ask, like, what is it? Do you know what is a confirmed dimension? What is a role playing dimension? They used to ask like straightforward these kind of a questions. Okay, what is a circular dimension? They used to ask. That trend is gone. The trend is gone, almost gone. Again, now they're asking the scenario. This they are asking. I have a dimension table and I have fact table and another dimension table, and I wanted to show these two columns in one single report and with the fact. So how I can do it? Why? Because I do not have a direct relationship between these two. I do not have a direct relationship between these two. So how I can do it? So that is what they are expecting. That is how they are asking. Okay. So remember this, not a deal, not at all a deal. So you go through this, okay, all these different kind of a dimensions. Okay. So this is not just helping us in Power BI. This helps even if you work in Tableau. Okay, even if you are working in any other data modeling. Let's say what happened. You generally give the interviews on what, either Power BI or Tableau or Python or something like that. But after you join the company, what happens? There is no guarantee that you will get the work same what is been interviewed or what is the job description. Sometimes what happens? They give you like a different kind of work for a time short period. So you should be in a position to handle that. To handle that. Give me a moment. Okay. So confirm dimension, role playing dimension, circular dimension. So it is not just, don't limit yourself that what I'm listing here. Okay. Don't restrict yourself. whatever you, when you're going through, let's say you found you started learning for conformal dimension and you're trying to understand, and you are also see when you're researching on it, it is not just they provide you the definition like what is conformal dimension. Conformal dimension in simple, let's say I talked about, I believe, but just wanted to recap on that part. So you have a two different schemas. Okay, in a company it is not that you will be having one schema only, one star, one star. Okay, so the schema can be anything. Let's say in the store, from the store point of view, from the front end store, that the sales they wanted to. So what basically they will be having in that schema, in that schema basically we will have, in that schema basically we will be having, what is that, we will be having the customer table. Okay, in that schema, let's say star schema, imagine a star schema. In that schema we will be having a customer table, product table, sales table, the date table. When it comes to the organization, the same organization, let's say they wanted to have another schema for employees. Let's say employee table and their projects table, employee table, projects table, and the department table, and the sales table, and the clients table. So all that information along with the fact table will be there, and the date table. So here, if you see, I have a date table here as well, and I have a date table here as well. So why should I create two different date tables when it is a common need? I mean, it is a same thing. So in that case, what I will do, I will maintain one date table. I will maintain one date table, and I will ask the fact table to use that date table. I will ask this fact table also use this table and use this table. This, when one single dimension which is connected with multiple fact tables, then that is called your conformal dimension. That is called conformal dimension. Okay. So see, when I'm talking about the definition, it looks simple. It looks easy for you. But what about the use case? How it will be used? And is there any use case for Power BI? That I wanted you all to explore on that part. Okay, so when you start exploring, you will find a lot of information. Let's say you started searching for a confirmed dimension. When you are looking for, when you are reading for, when you're going through, you may find a lot more other information around it. That is very important for us. Okay, so that plays a vital role. So when it is coming to this one, Power BI, so what we talked about, what we talked about, this one, circular dimension. So how do we handle the situation? How do we handle the situation in Power BI with the help of a DAX? With the help of a DAX, we can do that. There are some DAX functions, predefined DAX functions. With the help of a DAX functions, measures, we can create it. We can create a measure that establish the relationship between these two dimensions, and that works runtimely. It works like a dynamic solution at runtime. That we will see. That all use cases we will see. But what I'm saying, when I write down the DAX functions, you should be ready to understand. You should be ready to come. I mean, you should be comfortable in understanding what I'm doing. So for that, you need to do the groundwork. Okay, clear? And okay, so this is all about the technical part, the modeling part. So in the model, we will see like a different kind of schemas, different kind of examples. We will see the use cases, especially. So in recent past, like in one of the interview, what they have asked is like, uh, what is that? So let's say that you have a, this is this is this is your model. Okay, This is your model. In that you have a fact table. Okay, you have a dimension table, and both of them are connected with other. They have connected with one with other. They're connected one with the other. So till here we are good. But what if the case I have a date table? I have a date table, order date and shipping date. Okay, I have order date and shipping date. In this table, I have order date and shipping date. This is my date table, and this is order date and this is shipping date. And I have sales here. I have sales here. I have sales, shipping date, order date. Okay, these two are there. So generally what we can do, we can establish the relationship with any of these columns, either order date or ship date, right? We cannot establish the relationship with, we cannot establish more than one relationship. Remember this. In Power BI, when you create a model, you can have only one active relationship. We can have only one active relationship. But here you need to have a relationship between both, a relationship between this fact and dimension table with all these relations. You need one connection, one relationship with the ship date, another relationship with order date. But Power BI doesn't allow you to create it. It will allow you to create one active relationship. Other one, you have to make it as inactive. In such situations, how do you handle it? So that again, we can do it with the help of a DAX. See, look at like how the solutions we are getting it. So with the help of a DAX, you can easily do it. So there are some predefined functions. With the help of that, though these relationships are currently inactive in the model, but you can make it as active with the help of your DAX measure. So we will see what is DAX and what is DAX measure and what is calculated column and everything we will see. But why I'm telling you, these are the different use cases that we come up with. Even in the interviews, they ask you like this, like they simply ask you like this kind of things. But what they're expecting from, what they're expecting with this, from this, instead of asking what is a cross filter function, they're giving you a kind of a scenario, and they're expecting from you there is a function called cross filter in Power BI DAX. With the help of that, you can achieve this. And here, when it is coming here, there is a function called user relationship. This is the function in DAX. With the help of this, you can achieve this. So now I told you, right? They're not asking the questions directly. They're giving you the use cases so that they can easily identify, they can easily evaluate you whether you have a real-time experience or not. Why? Because when you go and search in the Google, they simply give you like the definition of a cross filter, the definition of a user relationship function. But there are some forums, there you will get this complete use case. Okay, but we will talk about practically like how to implement these things. Okay, but I'm just trying to explain you like how important the modeling part here. Okay, what we can achieve this, what we cannot achieve this with the help of modeling, what are the limitations that we have with the DAX, and what are the limitations that we have with the modeling of Power BI. But this is really important. This is really important. When you see here this modeling, Power BI has given a separate section altogether, a separate section for designing your models. all together for your models. Okay, so this is a visualization pan, right? What happens when it comes to the Power BI? Why do we need to create a model? What is the help of it? Let's say you will say, I will simply bring the tables into this model, but I will not establish any kind of relationship. One, what are the different advantages that you will miss? One is you cannot pull the data by product wise sales or the customer wise sales like that. Okay, so other disadvantage with Power BI for the inaccurate or improper data model design, the impact will be on the visualization side. If you maintain a proper relationship with within your model, what you can do, when you click on any of the bars in one of the visual, then automatically the other visuals, the data get be filtered out. That is called interactive filtering. That you will not experience it. Why? Because you are not establishing the relationship. So how it works, when you interact, when you create a relationship one with the other table, then only you can do the interactive filtering. That again we will see. Okay.
Mani, I have a small question.
Yeah.
So when you are saying that at any given point of time, there can be only one active relationship,
Right.
and then you are talking about interactive filtering, then wouldn't both of them are like contradictories, what I understood? So could you just...
Yep. Okay. So interactive filtering is something different, Bhargav. So that topic is done. Active relationship topic is done. That is completed. So they both are two different things. So interactive filtering. So let's come to the active relationship. So that part you are clear, right? Power BI doesn't allow us to create more than one relationship between two tables. There can be only one active relationship. That we practically will see. So in this example, yeah, in this example, what we are talking about, even if you have a ship date and order date, but you cannot establish a relationship with one with the ship date, another one with order date. You can have only one relationship, either with ship date or order date. Okay, that part you clear, right? Even if I create a relationship, but it will not allow. It will either it will ask you, you have to manually make the other relationship inactive, whichever you want, or I will make it for you. But I will not allow you at one point of time. I will not allow you to make a relationship with more than one relationship. That part you are clear, right? I will show you. I will show you practically, but visually try to understand. Okay. Okay. This part is done, right? When it is coming to the interactive filtering, that is different. See, interactive filtering works only if you have a relationship between these two tables. Let's say if you do not have a single relationship, let's say these are two independent. This is your fact table. This is your dimension table. This is another dimension table. Okay. So if you have a relationship between these two, then only your interactive filtering will happen. Let's imagine these two are connected with each other. I have another dimension table. These two are connected with each other. Okay. These two are connected with each other. Okay. But this is an independent dimension table. This is nowhere connected within this model. Okay. So what will happen? What will happen if I click on anything? Let's say I created some visuals. I created some visuals in this canvas visual pan. This is one visual bar chart. This is another one pie chart. In the bottom, I have created a tabular report where I'm displaying the detail level of data. In the bars, I'm displaying like last 12 months or year by sales. Okay. So if I click on any of the bar, if click on any of the bars in the one of the visual, then automatically what happens? This pie chart will automatically filter out your data. And this table also filter out the data. Filter in the sense it will gray out the other data which is not applicable for the bar which you have clicked on one of the visual. That is called interactive filtering. Okay, when you click on one of the bar, automatically the selected bar information will be filtered on the pie chart and the tabular chart, what are the different visuals that you have in this complete page. That is called interactive filtering. So when it will happen, when you have at least a single relationship, not a single relationship. When you have a relationship, that's it. You can have only one single active relationship at a time in between the two tables. But let's say if you see here, there is no relationship here. This one is an independent one, totally independent. Let's say you have used this one in one of the visual here. So what will happen, since you haven't established any relationship within this schema? So even if your bar chart is created and when you click on any of the bar, the visual that you have created with this dimension or any fact table in which these two are connected, that will not do any kind of filtering. So there the interactive filtering is missing. The reason because these are not within the schema. This table is not within the schema and it is nowhere related, not connected with any of them. It's not within, it is not part of the model. So that's the reason interactive filtering won't happen. Interactive filtering, that we are not going to active or make it active anything explicitly. We are not going to set out any properties explicitly. It is happening automatically by default because within the model, you are establishing a connection with one fact table with other dimension table. So with that feature, since you are creating the relationship between them in the model, with that reason, you're seeing that interactive filtering in your visuals. That's it. You got it, right?
Yes, Mani.
Yeah. So they both are two different things. So we will see in detail, like practically we will see what is what. Okay, we'll see like how it is not allowing us to create more than one active relationship at a time between the two tables. And also we will see like how interactive filtering is working. Okay. Right. So when you see here, okay, let's come to this section. Okay, modeling part, you're clear, right, how important it is, but we'll come to this section one after other. Okay, in a flow, in a process, like how it starts with importing the data. That would be very first step in your Power BI dashboard. I mean Power BI report desktop, not dashboard, desktop. Okay, so some of the terms, okay, some of the terms, if you are looking at what I'm talking about, the reports, dashboards. Okay, so if you are familiar with the Tableau, don't get confused here. Why? Because in Tableau, what we have, we build the dashboards within the desktop itself, Tableau desktop itself. Tableau desktop, in the sense, you will be having the similar kind of software using which you can build your dashboards and workbooks. Okay, the entire report where you create different dashboards, that entire workbook, it would be called, entire report would be called workbook. But in Power BI, this entire thing will be called as report. So what is a dashboard in Power BI? That should be a question, right? Generally ask this in interviews. Remember this. So dashboards is something that you cannot create in the desktop, that you can create in the Power BI service, that we will talk about. Okay, that we will talk about how to create an account in Power BI service, Microsoft account, freely. Okay, so definitely there would be a duration, right? A free time period will be there. We will see all these in details. So once we deploy our reports, let's say you have created your dashboard and you publish this one. This is the button where you can use to publish your dashboard, publish your report, entire report into the Power BI service. So once you published all such reports into the Power BI service, there you can create the dashboard. Power BI service is the place where you can create the dashboard by using different visuals from the different reports. Okay, using right, perfect. So you can create the dashboard with the different visuals from the different reports. That you can call it as a dashboard in Power BI service. So you can give the definition accordingly. Okay. So when it comes here, the very first step, what we do, the very first step, we pull the data from the source. So if you see here, these are the common data sources. When you click on this one, these are the common data sources. Let's say I wanted to connect with an Excel file. I wanted to connect with an Excel file. So this is the option, get data. And if you also see here in the data section, this section, you also have an Excel workbook. Okay, the same option. Whatever the option when you are selecting from this get data, this is exactly the same thing. But why it is giving? The reason because it is the most frequently used source for the Power BI reporting. That is the reason they have given a readily available features. If you see here, the SQL Server. The SQL Server is also you have here. You have here and you have here. Okay. So if you see here, they're also giving a one-click features here. They import the data from Excel. Import the data from Excel. So you can do that one as well. And this one, the same thing. Import the data from SQL Server. Import the data from SQL Server. When you click on this one, this is the same thing. This is the same thing. So for utilizing one single feature called SQL Server, you have option here and you have an option enabled here and you have an option enabled here. These are the three different places. These are the three different places where you can source the data from a SQL Server database. So since SQL Server is the Microsoft product, SQL Server is the Microsoft product, and you have Power BI is also Microsoft product, so that this combination is the most frequently used combination. Hardly the companies connect to the Oracle or data as a source for your Power BI reporting, but connecting to your Azure, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and Snowflake Cloud Data Warehousing. So this becomes like a common practice now. So many companies, they are using, these are the cloud services, cloud sources. So how you can import it? Let's see. So you do not see that option, but how you can do it? When you click on this more button, you will see that it's like a vast whatnot, like that makes you one of the that makes you this tool as a powerful tool, because it can connect to, it can pull to any of the source that you have currently in the IT world. So if you see here, it is all section, and you have a different section wise also. When it is coming to the file section, we have Excel workbook and text file and all other things. You have all other things. So when it is coming to the database, it is again vast. It started with SQL Server. Again, you can connect to Oracle database, IBM DB2, Netezza, MySQL, PostgreSQL. So it also helps to connect to the open source databases as well. Open source database. If you see here, the Google BigQuery. What is this? Cloud. Google BigQuery is the cloud. GCP, Google Cloud Platforms. The database is called Google BigQuery. Okay. Snowflake. Snowflake. So if you are aware of this one, this is in the cloud data warehousing John, Snowflake is leading the market. Then comes up with your Azure Redshift, AWS, Redshift, Azure, GCP. All comes next. Snowflake is leading the market in cloud data warehousing. Okay, so many companies using this combination, the class Snowflake with Power BI. Okay, so you can learn. So since you are, I believe like you're all become like a strong in SQL, right? So Snowflake supports language called SnowSQL. SnowSQL. So I would say 80% of the SQL that what we have learned, the syntactically, it supports. It is common. Very few things. Very few things. Like example, you remember, right? So we have used top command. We have used top command to fetch top 5 records or 10 records from a SQL Server database. When it comes to the Snowflake, it provides like fetch first 10 rows only or 5 rows only. So end of the select statement, you need to write like this. So these are the some small differences. They have given a big documentation. They have given a very big documentation in the Snowflake area. So it when you go through that one, it doesn't even take much time for you. Why? Because you're already familiar with SQL. You're already familiar with SQL, so it will be very easy. So to learn Snowflake. So I mean, this will just give you a value add to your profile, but you can simply say that what is a Snowflake. At least from the interview point of view, you can say that I'm comfortable with Snowflake. I can write down the queries using SnowSQL. So if you see here, these are all different databases. Denodo is there. Power Platform. So this is again recently been introduced by Microsoft. Okay, this is another product using which you can. Yeah. So coming to the Azure side, if you see here, this is the cloud section of Microsoft Azure product. So you can see here like how many options it is providing, so that using which you can source your data for your Power BI reporting. Starting from Azure SQL database, you have a Azure database for PostgreSQL. Okay, that is also there. The database, the Postgres database, which has been built with Azure database, so that also you can use as a source for your Power BI reporting. You do have an even data lakes as well. So these are the different things. So coming to the online services, what you have online SharePoint list. This is the commonly used thing, right? You see generally what happens, some companies, they maintain their tables, their spreadsheets, they maintain the tables, spreadsheets in the SharePoint list, online list. So you can directly connect to this SharePoint online list and pull the source your data for your Power BI reporting. Okay. You have all these options. Okay, so you do even have a Databricks here. So many things like see, this is a QuickBase. QuickBase is another database. Basically what happens, QuickBase is like a kind of a Jira tool. You might be aware of a Jira tool, right? Using this Jira tool, you can create your tickets in user stories in your work environments. Similarly, QuickBase is kind of a ticketing tool. So that again, you can connect to that QuickBase and pull the data for your Power BI reporting. and Zoho Creator. Zoho Creator, again, you might aware of, like, this is an auditing. This is leading this auditing world. Auditing in the sense, I mean, the chartered accounts, they use this one for filing and everything. So that, again, Zoho Creator, you can use it as a source for your Power BI reporting. So basically what happens when you connect to this Zoho Creator, so it is creating a pipeline or a plugin for your directly to your applications. So you can simply read your data. Simply you can read the metadata that you are not doing it. Power BI is doing. Power BI is doing for you. That is such a powerful tool. You don't need to go to the database of a Zoho and read like what are the different tables that you have. It completely eliminated that steps for you. When you connect to this online services, online links of a Zoho, then what happens? It reads the complete data that what is there in that application and automatically creates the tables for you and will display the data for you for your reporting. Okay, so let's see that one of the example. If you see here this web, you can connect to any web link. You can connect to any web link. You can generate the report. So we are seeing nowadays in the LinkedIn, like people are creating the COVID dashboards like that, right? So how they're doing it? See, these are the country wise. You're seeing this deaths, cases, this country wise information. Country wise information. So how difficult it is for you to manually copy or maintain it in the Excel and pull this information monthly. This is a monthly data. How monthly the data is. 2022 monthly cumulative COVID-19 deaths. So let's say you have got a requirement, or for your, let's say, forget about requirement. You wanted to do some practice monthly. Okay, you can see here the June 1st, August 1st. It's the monthly data. So this is another structure. Okay, month wise. And you also have a cases and deaths by region. So these are the different tables. This is something you need a kind of an automated process. It is not possible for you to build a report by copying the entire data from this. It is too much difficult, right? It is too much time consuming. So, but Power BI has eliminated all such efforts for you, that it is such a powerful tool. It reads the data entirely, what is there in this entire application, and do it for you. Let's do that. Connect to this, just copy and paste the link. Copy this link of the URL and put it over here. Okay, put it over here and click OK. See what it is doing. It is establishing the connection to that web link from your Power BI report. See also what is happening by when it is establishing, it is reading the data. It is so quick. It pulls the underlying data or the metadata, I would say, of that web page and display you all the tables what is needed for your reporting. See, if you see here that what we have talked about, we have all these tables. Okay, it has all these tables. So whatever the tables that it is seeing, whatever the data it is seeing, it is generating, it is giving you the tabular format so that you can go through and bring it. So if you see here, it is even giving the names also. Why? Because it has the names. And if you remember, we talked about this one, right? COVID cases, the worldwide, country-wise cases and deaths. So this is again a useful table for us. And we also seen this one, monthly data. We have also seen this monthly data, right? And so if you see here, it is pulling the data for you, but it is not recognized that the first column, the first row is column names, right? That is something again missed. That for tweaking from your side is important, is needed here, right? Why? Because this is not a readily usable table for you for your reporting. Why? Because first you need to bring this first row into the columns, and also you need to perform certain transformations on top of it. Why? Because this column one is nowhere related. Why? Because if you see here, the entire data is blank, it is nowhere required for you. You need to delete it. And so whatever the tables that you are needed for your reporting, that tables you can choose it. You can choose from here. And again, come back to the second half. Remember, right? We have seen this one as well. You have reason wise, total cases, total deaths, cases per million, deaths per million. These are all the numbers in millions. Okay. So again, if you see here, you have other information as well. So see how simple it is. I'm getting, let's say I wanted to see the percentage wise, the location wise, world wise, say in different countries, the percentage wise, I wanted to see the total and the percentage of cases heated. So again, I can take this one. So similarly, so you have a date here, the countries here. So simple, right? You do not require to copy anything. You need to do see, generally for the data preparation, the people spend a huge amount of the time in the data preparation. Huge amount of the time in the data preparation. But see how simplified your job it is with the help of Power BI. It is doing for you. It is doing for you. It is preparing the tables instantly. That too, instantly. Hardly took how many seconds for us. Instantly, it is doing for us and bringing those tables. So I can select all the tables, whatever it is needed for my reporting, and I can use them into the report. If it is not required, then I can simply remove it. Either I can remove it from the loading, or else once it is loaded, even after loading also, I can remove it. I can clean that. I can delete it. So okay, so now I selected the tables what is needed for my reporting. Okay, now that part is done. Then it comes to the bottom. If you see here, there are two sections here. There are two sections here. What is that? One is load, another one is transform data. So when you will choose load option, let's say, take an example for these tables. Okay, when you see here, this table is good. This table is good. Why? Because you have a country and death and million deaths and all these things. You have column names here properly set. We do not need any further changes on top of this table. So for that, you can go for the load option. But when it comes here, you understand that this column is nowhere needed for you. Nowhere needed for you. But and similarly, you need to change. You need to sweep the first row into columns. You need to shift the first row into the columns. That again, the transformation is needed. Again, we need to perform the transformation. Okay. So for such situations, when you understand that your data requires further transformation, further fine tuning, the cleaning up of your data is needed, then you can simply click on the transform data. Let's say by mistakenly, now you understand the difference between when you go for load and transform the data, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So let's say by mistakenly what happened, you clicked on the load button. By mistakenly you clicked on the load button. Okay. So even if you do that, doesn't that is not an issue. Okay. Even if you do that, that is not an issue. What will happen? So once you loaded the data, again you have an option in our Power BI report using which you can convert your data. You can perform your transformations by clicking on the transform data option. There also we have that option. There also we have an option. Let me show you. Okay. So let's say I clicked on the load button and I have chosen like what is the tables which are needed for me. And when you see here, it is determining the automatic transformations. Okay. So another beauty with Power BI that we will see with another example. Since I don't see any kind of a relationship or a model that I can establish between any of these tables, but let's see how Power BI is doing it. You know, that another beauty with Power BI, it automatically creates a relationship between. Let's say you are importing 5 different tables from the either from database or from an Excel sheet with the different sheets and everything. You're doing it. Okay, when you are importing your data, into your report, so what will happen? Uh, what happened? The column of the table was not found. Okay, so let's load individually then. Let's see what is happening. So when you generally what happens when you're importing your data, from any of the Excel sheets or a SQL Server table or any of them, Power BI automatically creates a relationship for you. Power BI automatically creates a relationship for you. So when Power BI is creating a relationship and you found that the relationship is not valid, something like it created a relationship between order date and some sales, and you wanted to make that relationship changed from order date to ship date. That again you can do it manually. You can do it. But what Power BI is doing, it is creating a relationship, a one-to-many relationship or one-to-one relationship. It automatically creates by looking into the columns, and let's say the column names are common in between the two tables. It can do only when you have a common column names are same. You have a fact table. You have some order keys. Let's say customer ID, and you have that customer ID in your fact table as well as a foreign key. Customer ID in the customer table is a primary key, and the same customer ID in fact table is a foreign key. So since the names are same, when it found the names are same, then it starts identifying the relationship between these two tables. Let's say the customer table, it found that it's a unique records, and with the other table, the fact table, it found that it has a duplicate records as well as the null column. So then it creates a relationship between those two automatically. It will not wait for you. So what happens, since Power BI is so much powerful in doing that operation, in creating the relationship for you in the model, then once a model is even created, then you can go back to the model and look into, or you can review the model. If any changes are needed for the changes, then you can do it. Otherwise, you don't require to. Everything it is doing it for you. Everything it is doing it for you. So let's you load the data one by one. I don't know. Even I never used this link, but that's not a deal for usage even. Let's try it again. Okay, the web link. Let's do it for one table. Anyways, we are not going to do anything for this one, but we are just seeing like how powerful it is. Like when you are connecting to any of the links instantly, even you can connect to your LinkedIn profile as well. Let's say you have a your LinkedIn profile. So you can use that LinkedIn profile link and use that here, and you can generate the reports like how many viewers in the last 6 months, how many of them have visited your profile, and you can also see like how many jobs that you have applied for and how many of them have reached, different companies have reached you. So, and what are the different skills and also all the stuff, the certifications that you have done. You can generate a report, you can generate a report, and that report, the Power BI report, people are taking that as a screenshot or exporting that as a PDF and putting that as a attaching that one as a statistics for your resume as well. That I have seen people are doing that. I mean, that's again a different approach, right? That's altogether a different approach. Here, let's transform the data. Click on the transform the data. See, now all the things are loaded here. All the things are loaded here, but they have not transformed properly. Okay, if you see here, all of them are loaded. And I think I have loaded it again. Let's delete this one. Okay. So as I said, like once it is done, then you can delete it. So this is called Power Query Editor window. This is very, very important. So as we know all that Power BI is a reporting tool or a data visualization tool, but Power BI is equally efficient in performing the data transformations. It also works as a ETL tool. Remember this. Okay, it is an equally efficient and powerful performing the ETL operation. So what are the ETL operations, or what are the transformations that it can do? ETL in the sense, basically what are the transformations, what it can do. That way we learn all of them, all these options. It has a vast options, and we will learn one by one. We'll learn everything with example. See, if you see here, when I'm clicking on the home button, you can see all these options, and when I click on the transformation, you can see the vast number of options here. So it can perform transpose, reverse rows, and pivoting, unpivoting. So you remember, when we wanted to do something in the SQL, we need to write down the queries. But when it comes to the Power BI, it will do everything with the options that what is available here. Everything that can be done with the options that are what are available here. Okay, so that's the reason people, I mean, the IT people who are surviving in the IT world with the Power BI knowledge. If you really ask some kind of a questions, they cannot answer in the SQL side, but they are surviving in this world and really doing good. They're really doing good. How? SQL is important. SQL gives a value to add to your profile for any of the reporting tools that you're going into the market. SQL adds a value to your profile is reason because, let's say you are one of the developer, you know both SQL and Power BI, and there is another developer who knows only Power BI. So how it creates a difference between you and the other guy who knows only Power BI. So since you are aware of SQL and Power BI, you can able to judge, like, let's say there is a calculation that you can judge, like whether it can be implemented in the SQL side or Power BI side. The reason because, always remember, when something can be done on the SQL side, always implement that in the SQL side only, not on the reporting side. Every calculation that you implement in the reporting side, that reduce that impact the performance of your report, Okay, so since you are good or comfortable with SQL, so you ought, what always your brain says, you always try to implement the things on the SQL side. If something which cannot be done, which has to be done in the Power BI, then only you will come back and do the things on the Power BI side. That is called a standard approach. The people who are running their job without any SQL knowledge, they're putting that into, they're really struggling in doing the things because of these performance issues and other stuff. So that, with that, like, SQL definitely creates a differentiator in the market for you. Okay, so we will talk about this Power Query in detail, and the models again we will see, and we will then again we'll see the different use cases with the DAX calculations that we talked about. and then finally we will go to the visualizations, data visualization section. Okay, from tomorrow, like, we will see all these different features individually, like how it works and how you transform the data, all these stuffs. Okay, so though the tables got loaded in your Power Query window, but they haven't shown for us like why they have not successfully applied, because the issues with the data. So we need to clean up this data. Once we clean the data, then we can apply the data. So we can load the data into your model. That we will see in detail. Okay. Any questions from anyone?
No, Mani.
We are good, right, so far? Okay. What about you, Ravi, Naveen?
Yeah, so far good.
Good, right? Okay, perfect. So again, like, I believe like you all install the Power BI, and explore it. See what we talked about. We talked about the web links, like how we connect to the Power BI and how we pull the data from the different tables. Start exploring that, and more importantly, be prepared and be ready with your these kind of a dimensions. And so whatever the concept which I have shared on top of the data modeling side, explore more on that. Explore more on that one, so that it would be really helpful for your reporting knowledge. Okay, that's it for today. And yeah, thank you everyone.